Do you have these 10 crucial items in your preps? Budget items that do double or triple duty and beyond to save you money, save you space, and save you big time when disaster strikes. How to prep more stuff in less space for less money. Let's go. Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome to the channel. One of the biggest reasons people give for not being as prepared as they'd like to be is not having enough storage space. One way to get around that is to prioritize storing multi-purpose items, preps that can be used for more than just one single thing. Today, we're diving into my top 10 multi-purpose prepper pantry items that do it all: cooking, cleaning, food preservation, healing, and even trading for more supplies. The best part is most of these are easy to find, they last a very long time in your pantry, and they're dirt cheap. Stick around to discover what to stock, why they're must-haves, and how to use them in ways you never imagined. Let's jump in and build a prepper pantry that's ready for anything. The first item on my list is vinegar. Vinegar is a true multi-purpose star because it has so many different uses. There's also many different types of vinegar. I recommend having at least two: regular old white vinegar and apple cider vinegar in your prepper pantry. Of course, vinegar has culinary uses. We can use it in our cooking. Vinegar can be used to make many different kinds of dressings and marinades and sauces. One of my family's favorite dishes that we make often is teriyaki chicken, and that uses a good glug of this apple cider vinegar in the delicious teriyaki sauce. Vinegar can help tenderize meat, which is part of what makes it such a good ingredient for marinades. Another very important use for vinegar is food preservation. The acidity in vinegar inhibits the growth of bacteria, and it allows foods to be preserved much longer at room temperature. So think pickles, relishes, and preserves. And even adding just a little vinegar can increase the acidity of other foods to make it safe for them to be water bath canned, for instance. These forms of food preservation will be super important during a grid down emergency or crisis when using our fridge and freezer won't be an option. For food preservation, you want to make sure that the vinegar you store has an acidity level of 5% because that's the level of acidity that canning recipes are based on. So that's going to make sure that you have the proper acidity to make your recipes safe. That's going to be labeled on the bottle or jug, so look for that and make sure you're buying 5% acidity vinegar. Beyond food and the kitchen, vinegar has a lot of household uses as well. Vinegar makes a great cleaner, and it can also help disinfect. You can mix vinegar with water in a spray bottle for an effective multi-purpose cleaner that's great for surfaces, windows, any kind of glass really, stainless steel, bathrooms, all sorts of things. So if you don't have room to store a whole bunch of cleaning supplies, just know that you can use your vinegar to replace many of those cleaners. It can also be used for laundry as well. Vinegar makes a great substitute for fabric softener in the rinse cycle. It can brighten your clothes and help remove nasty odors like mildew, urine, sweat, and animal odors from your laundry. It can also serve as a stain remover. It's effective on many different kinds of stains. Vinegar is also a descaling agent, meaning it can remove mineral deposits that are caused by hard water, like in your appliances or anywhere else that might be affected. Vinegar can also be used in the garden. It's a wonderful natural weed killer, and it can repel certain insects as well. Being able to grow our own food during times of crisis to supplement and replenish our stored prepper pantry food is going to be very, very important. Vinegar, particularly apple cider vinegar, is also known for having a lot of health benefits, including blood sugar control, weight loss, and improving your heart health. It also has antimicrobial and probiotic properties, so it can help with digestion and gut health and all of that. If you're looking for health benefits from vinegar, make sure that you're getting all natural apple cider vinegar with the mother. We use apple cider vinegar even more in the summer because with the addition of a few drops of dish soap, it makes a very effective fruit fly trap. And it also makes a good remedy for sunburns. The fact that vinegar has so many uses during times of emergency makes it an absolute superstar prepper stockpile item. The next item on my list is salt. Salt is one of the most important preps that every prepper should stockpile. It's so important, in fact, that it's actually recommended to store 5 to 8 pounds of salt per person per year of food storage. Part of the reason that they tell you to store so much is because of how many uses it has. Although it kind of gets a bad rap, salt is a vital nutrient that every body needs to survive. Sodium is an electrolyte that's crucial for maintaining fluid balance throughout your body, maintaining your brain, nerve, and muscle function, and preventing dehydration by allowing our cells to retain water. This is why we sometimes need more than just water when we're dehydrated. Sometimes we need an electrolyte solution, and one of those electrolytes is salt. Salt is also one of the most important ingredients for making our food more palatable. Even if salt was the only seasoning you had, a little salt can go a long way towards making food taste better. Salt can also strengthen the gluten in breads and improve their texture. Beyond just a little flavor enhancing, salt is also really important for food preservation. Like vinegar, it inhibits bacterial growth, so it's useful for pickling, preserving meats, and fermenting. All very important SHTF skills to have. Back in the old days, they used to preserve meats without a refrigerator or a freezer at all, just by packing them in barrels with salt. Around the house, salt has other uses as well. Salt has cleaning uses, especially with its rough, abrasive nature. It makes a great scrub. It's really good for cleaning your cast iron pans, for instance. Scrubbing your hands with salt can help remove garlic and onion odors after you've cooked with those things. It's also useful as a stain remover. Medicinally, a warm saltwater rinse or gargle is a remedy for sore throats and canker sores. And salt's antiseptic properties also make salt water an important tool for wound care. There's lots of different kinds of salt to keep in your food storage. Regular table salt that's labeled as iodized is fortified with iodine. It's a way of preventing iodine deficiency in people who don't necessarily get enough iodine from their food. During an emergency or a crisis, it is harder than usual to get every nutrient that our body needs from the limited food that we have to choose from. So fortified foods are important. Other good salts to store include pink Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt, and Redmond's real salt. For food preservation, you need a canning and pickling salt, or really any salt without additives like the iodine. Next on the list is baking soda. Unlike baking powder, baking soda has a very long, practically indefinite shelf life. We know it as a leavening agent that helps our baked goods to rise, but it has many more uses, both in the kitchen and beyond. Baking soda is a great meat tenderizer. It's like the secret to having those really tender pieces of meat in a Chinese restaurant. This would come in extra handy during times when we might be relying on wild game or even older, past their prime livestock for food. Baking soda is also the secret for tenderizing old beans. Dry beans can be stored for a long time, but the longer they're stored, the harder they get, and the harder it is to get them to soften when you cook them. Just a little bit of baking soda, like 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon per pound of beans, added to the water used for soaking or the beginning stages of cooking, will help soften beans that otherwise wouldn't have. Baking soda also helps cut the acidity of foods like tomatoes, for instance. So a pinch of baking soda is often added to tomato-based sauces, soups, and other dishes. It can also be used to speed up the browning process when you're browning different foods. And if you get a little overzealous in your browning or any other cooking activity, baking soda can also be used to put out a small cooking fire. Where baking soda really shines is in the realm of personal hygiene. Baking soda is a natural and gentle alternative to or substitute for many different commercial products. It can be used as a deodorant to neutralize body odor, used in a homemade toothpaste, tooth polish, or mouthwash to brighten your teeth, clean your teeth, and cut down your bad breath bacteria. It can be a soothing soak for achy feet. Many people also use it as a gentle facial exfoliant, and its odor-absorbing properties make it a popular ingredient for homemade deodorizing sprays and dry shampoos, both of which could be very important during an emergency. When it comes to cleaning, baking soda is a powerhouse here as well. It cuts through grease, lifts stains, and neutralizes odors on a wide variety of surfaces. It's a safe and effective, mildly abrasive scrub for cleaning sinks, countertops, bathtubs. It can lift dirt and odors from carpet, mattresses, and other soft surfaces like that. When combined with vinegar, it creates a fizzy reaction that can actually unclog drains and clean many different awkward spots like that. It's also well known for absorbing unwanted odors, places like the garbage can and things like that. Medicinally, baking soda has long been used for generations to treat heartburn and indigestion by neutralizing stomach acid. All it takes is a teaspoon mixed into a glass of water for fast relief. It can also be added to bath water to soothe itchy skin, sunburn, or allergic reactions. And like salt, it can even be used in oral rinses to help alleviate canker sores and soothe sore throats. This is another simple, unassuming, and very inexpensive item that can take the place of so many other items that we might need to store. Next up, coconut oil. Coconut oil is another incredibly versatile and multi-use natural product that can be used not only for food and cooking, but also personal care, health, cleaning, and other household tasks. In the kitchen, coconut oil is prized for its high smoke point, which makes it excellent for sautéing, baking, frying, and even popping popcorn. It's well suited to cooking at higher temperatures in survival situations. It can stand in as a substitute for butter or other oils that don't store as long, and it can also add necessary fat and calories to our survival diet. For personal hygiene, coconut oil is a powerhouse as well. It's used as a natural moisturizer for dry skin, a deep conditioning treatment for hair, and even a gentle makeup remover. It's also used for oil pulling, which is an ancient oral health practice that involves swishing the oil around in the mouth to help reduce bacteria and support gum health. It can also be blended into DIY lip balms, toothpaste, shaving creams, and deodorants. All of those things that we might make out of our baking soda, for instance. Health-wise, coconut oil contains MCTs, or medium-chain triglycerides, which is a type of fat that's believed to boost energy, support metabolism, and improve your brain function. Some people use it to soothe minor cuts and burns, reduce inflammation, and as a natural remedy for skin conditions like eczema or psoriasis. It does have natural antifungal and antibacterial properties, making it well suited to skincare and first aid use. Coconut oil has household uses as well. It can be used to polish wood furniture, lubricate squeaky hinges, and condition leather. In survival situations, it can be used to make candles or to burn in oil lamps to provide light. It can be used on pets as well, paws, noses, skin, coats, to soothe dryness and irritation and protect from the elements, because we need to prep for our pets and take care of our furry friends as well. It also works as a natural carrier oil for essential oils when making homemade salves. This tropical treasure proves itself to be one of the most multi-purpose oils available. Also in this category, I would include tallow and lard, if those are fats that you prefer to use or if you produce them yourself. In general, though, I've found coconut oil to have a longer shelf life under normal room temperature storage. But do your research, take your lifestyle and preferences into account, and store one or more of these options. Now let's talk about honey. Honey shines in the prepper pantry as a natural sweetener that's one of the so-called forever foods. Honey may crystallize and harden, but pure honey will never go bad, and it's easy to bring it back from its crystallized state. Honey not only sweetens, but it also helps keep baked goods moist and soft and helps them rise evenly. It's best to choose raw or unpasteurized honey that's as local to you as you can get. The unpasteurized honey will contain wild yeast that make it great for making mead or honey fermented garlic for health reasons. Besides food uses, honey does have a lot of medicinal uses as well because of its natural antimicrobial properties. Honey is great for dressing wounds or burns, and it makes an excellent natural cough syrup that's just as effective as anything you can buy at the drugstore. Honey provides a quick dose of energy from its easily absorbed glucose and fructose blend of sugars. And local honey can actually provide relief from outdoor allergies. In the beauty and hygiene realm, honey is very moisturizing while also being antimicrobial and enzymatic, which makes it a valuable ingredient for skin and hair masks, skin scrubs, and acne treatments. The next thing on my list is spices. Spices and herbs are vital for any prepper pantry because they help you avoid food fatigue. With a good array of spices at your fingertips, you can take a basic collection of shelf-stable foods and turn them into an endless assortment of different meals so that you don't have to worry about getting sick of eating the same thing over and over again. Throughout history, spices have been used to help prevent food from spoiling, as well as for trade and barter. In a crisis or emergency, they could serve those needs again. Spices also have many other uses. Many spices and herbs have strong medicinal properties, and many of them also have pest repellent properties as well. So they're very useful in the garden and the pantry to repel insects and rodents. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail about the individual spices and what they do because I recently did a video about the top 10 spices for your prepper pantry where I go into a lot more detail about all that. So I'm going to link that video down below and you can check it out after this one if you want to know more. Next up are some non-food prepper pantry items that have multiple uses. And the first one is 5-gallon buckets. This is a quintessential piece of prepper gear that can play a lot of roles. What we think of first, of course, is storage for bulk dry goods in the prepper pantry. 5-gallon pails are often used with or without Mylar bags inside to store all sorts of prepper pantry items like rice, beans, sugar, wheat, salt, and much more. They are an airtight and watertight storage solution that's portable and inexpensive. In fact, you can often get these for free if you ask at a bakery, deli, or any other business like that that gets wholesale ingredients in buckets. Make sure that the buckets you're getting are food grade buckets if you're going to use them for food or drinking water uses. It's a good idea to upgrade your 5-gallon pails with gamma lids for storage that's truly air and water tight while also giving easy access at the same time. I'll put a link down below to my favorite source for bulk savings on gamma lids where I buy these by the case. Because of their protective nature, 5-gallon pails are good for storing many other things besides food. You can pack fire starting supplies, for instance, or even a 72-hour kit inside a bucket that you can then easily grab and go if you have to evacuate or head to a secondary location. You can even use a 5-gallon bucket as a secret prepper stash or cache that you fill with supplies and bury on your property or off your property, somewhere that you and only you can find it to be accessed in a time of need. 5-gallon pails are also great for collecting and hauling things like soil, water, fire tinder, things like that. They can be used for container gardening. You can plant in them. So if you don't have a lot of yard space that's appropriate for gardening, you can still grow some food. This also allows you to grow closer to your home and gives your plants a little bit more portability. Although they would be heavy in those buckets, they could be moved, which could be important during a crisis situation when your growing food might need a little more protecting from looters and freeloaders. You can also use a bucket to create a worm composter and for a lot of different animal care tasks. We use 5-gallon buckets in the late winter to collect and carry sap from the maple trees that we then boil down into maple syrup. 5-gallon buckets can be used for seating. You can sit on them. Even better if they're filled with food or supplies for better stability, and then you have a seat with storage. If you want, you can even create a padded cushion for the lid to make it a more comfortable seat. A 5-gallon pail can be used to flush your toilet when the water's not running. Fill your buckets ahead of time with extra water for this, or collect water outside if you don't have enough advance notice. If toileting facilities aren't available at all, a 5-gallon bucket can become a toilet itself. There are toilet seats designed to snap right onto the pail itself and liners that are meant to contain the waste. If you want to learn more about this and see the complete bucket toilet kit that I put together as part of our emergency gear, I'll link that down below as well. A toilet is not the only thing that a 5-gallon bucket can become. Attach a shower nozzle and hang it up high and you have a gravity-fed emergency shower. Choose a black bucket for this if you can find one so that you can actually warm the water up in the sun. You can make an emergency clothes washer from a 5-gallon bucket or two and a toilet plunger. You can even create an effective mousetrap from a 5-gallon bucket. The list of things you can do with and store in 5-gallon buckets is endless, and they're very inexpensive, so they're a great thing to stock up on. Next on my list are heavy-duty plastic contractor trash bags. During a crisis or emergency, it's very important to have a way to contain waste and maintain sanitation. But these bags have many more uses than their intended use. And they take up virtually no space at all. One single bag is very thin, so they're great to tuck into bug out bags, your car, or anywhere else that you might need one. They can be used in a pinch as an emergency poncho or a pack cover to be used if it starts to rain. You can cut open a contractor bag if you need a larger sheet of heavy-duty plastic. This could be used to seal windows or other openings, or even build a small makeshift shelter or gear enclosure. These bags actually are only 3 mil, so they're not the strongest you can get. I think they go up to 6 mil, so try to get the highest mil you can get. On the ground, a contractor bag can provide a waterproof ground cover. And if you stuff it with dry leaves or maybe hay or some clothing, any soft material that you can find, it can become a pillow or even a small sleeping mat. These bags are very strong, so they can be used to collect and even carry water. And likewise, if you can seal air inside and water out, you could create a buoyant pillow that could be used as a makeshift temporary flotation device. There are so many possible uses for these bags that there's no reason not to stash a couple of boxes in your gear. The next multi-purpose item on my list is Vaseline, otherwise known as petroleum jelly. This bathroom staple that's been around since the 1800s is great for use as a lip balm and a skin protectant. It softens the skin, protects, soothes, and heals irritation and rashes. It even has first aid uses as an ointment for minor cuts and burns. One of the most well-known uses for Vaseline in prepping and survival is as a fire starter. Vaseline is flammable and it works as an accelerant, so it's great in conjunction with things like cotton balls or cotton pads or even dryer lint to use as a fire starter. Carry some of these simple fire starters in all of your bags and kits. I've even seen people make emergency candles out of Vaseline, but I've heard varying things about how safe that is. Petroleum jelly is also a great lubricant and protectant for metal hinges, tools, blades, threadings, anything like that. It provides a moisture barrier and it can help prevent rusting. It also can help out sticky zippers and prevent glue or paint from sticking to surfaces that you don't want it to stick to. It's very inexpensive and you can even pick this prep up at the dollar store, so definitely add this one to your preps. The final thing on my list is liquor. This may or may not be a vice you have, but for anyone who does, this will be in very high demand during SHTF situations. So it's going to be very valuable, even if it's only as a barter item. Always consider buying and storing some smaller bottles that will be useful for trade. Beyond drinking, alcohol has many other uses as well. Go with a higher proof alcohol, at least 40% or higher, for a few reasons. More concentration means you can store less for the same effect. But the higher alcohol concentration also means it will have a longer, pretty much indefinite shelf life. And there are certain uses that will depend on the high alcohol content. Disinfecting and sterilization, for instance. High proof alcohol can be used to disinfect wounds and sterilize tools and equipment. Vodka or Everclear can be used for surface and glass cleaning. It can be used to freshen fabrics, eliminate mildew, and as a skin astringent. A very strong alcohol like Everclear, if you're able to get it, can also be used as a fire starter and a fuel for an alcohol stove. This is another reason to get as high of a concentration of alcohol as possible. The higher the proof, the more flammable it will be. Medicinally, alcohol can be used to create tinctures, for instance, which is part of the herbal medicine that will become so important during times when traditional medicine isn't available. Alcohol has traditionally been used medicinally for many, many years. Even myself as a child, I remember what I got when I was sick. When I had a cold and a cough, I got a hot drink made of honey, lemon, and vodka in hot water. That was my medicine. And I remember when I got older, my mom explaining to me how each one of those ingredients served a medicinal purpose. Of course, we know throughout history, before the availability of modern drugs and anesthesia and things like that, alcohol was used as a painkiller, a sedative, and an anesthetic. And while it's certainly not ideal, it could serve these purposes again in desperate times. Of course, if you have strong moral or religious objections, or if someone in your home has a problem with alcohol, this prep might not be for you. Everyone preps a little differently, and there's no one-size-fits-all preparedness plan. That wraps up my list of the top 10 multi-purpose prepper items. Not only are they valuable and long-lasting for your own preps, but many are also valuable barter items. Barter is going to be a very important skill for those who don't have the room to store everything. And really, who does? This is by no means a comprehensive list of every single multi-purpose prepper item, just my favorites. And I'm sure I didn't list every possible use for the items that I talked about today. So let me know yours down in the comments so we can all learn from each other. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a tool emoji down in the comments. And for you to check out next, I'll put my bucket toilet video right up here. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.